Hey everyone, Kris here from Easil. Welcome to another DIY design tutorial. Today I want to show you 6 awesome editable text effects that you can apply to any font in Easil, and a few hot tips to add a little extra to the effect and make your designs really stand out. I'll quickly run through the text effects that I'll be showing you in this video so you know what's coming up. We'll learn how to create this realistic glowing neon effect with lens flares and lighting accents, gradient text with a reflection effect, this layered shadow effect, how to apply this super cool smoky effect to any font. We're going to learn how to get this retro style coloured shadow effect, and I'll show you how to get this glitter effect and these awesome lighting blinks. So let's jump straight in and get started.
I'll be working on a post size today, so if you're using a different size, you'll need to adjust the scale of some of your effects. So go to Easil Templates and open a blank design. We'll start by adding in our text and enlarging it so it's nice and big. I'll change the font to something like Black Hand Sands, which is bold and a little retro. Now let's update the font color to something really bright. Open your colors and click on the color picker to see more options. Select something around this pink and move the selection on the color map to the top right to find the most vivid colors. Once you have something super bright, you can move this slider up and down to play with the hues. But in this case, I feel like this bright pink is perfect. I'll update the background to black so we can easily see the effect. This effect is made up by using 2 types of glows, a background and a foreground glow. So let's make the background glow first. With the text selected, click on the shadow button in the action bar, update the blur slider to 70 and choose the same bright pink we use in the text. To create the foreground glow, duplicate your text and update the color to match the background. So I'll set this to black. Remember, glowing effects generally work best on darker or super saturated colors. With the foreground text selected, go back to the shadow button in the action bar. Choose glow again and update the blur slider to 8 and set it to white. Select both text boxes and use the align tool to position them exactly. Now let's add in some lighting accents. Go to images, select stock images and search for flare. I'm going to use this one. I'll adjust the size and move it over the top of my letters. I want to get an extra accent, so I'll duplicate it and make it slightly smaller. I also want to make it white, so click on the effects in the action bar and drop the brightness slider down to -100. Then check the invert toggle to make it white. Select both flares and use the align tool again. Click align middle and position them on the edges of the letters. With both flares still selected, duplicate them again and position them like this. By opening your layers panel and selecting both items, you can then try out some different fonts using the same effect.
I'll list the fonts and colours I've used in each of these effects in the description below so you can easily apply them to your design. Next, let's make this gradient text with a reflection effect.
First I'll add in my text and resize it so it's nice and big. Let's change the font to something condensed like Oswald and make it bold. Now I want to add a gradient into my text. So with the text still selected, go to Mask in the action bar, which opens your images. Select stock images and search gradient. Scroll down and I'll choose this red-orange one. Perfect. To get the text reflection effect, we need to make a copy of the text and convert it to an image so we can flip it correctly. To do this, I'll show you this cool trick. First go to your colors and change the background color to transparent. Then click download. Choose PNG and check export to my images. Hit export and wait for it to complete. Now go back to your images and you can see it has made a copy of your design with a transparent background. Select it and drop it onto your canvas. Stretch the edges so it fits the proportion of your canvas and it sits over the original text. We only want to use the image of the text and eliminate the transparent space, so select crop in the action bar and bring the edges in like this. Click flip vertically in the action bar and shift it down. You can use your arrow keys to get the perfect position. Then right click and center back. I'll update my background color to black and drop the opacity of my reflection image to 40%. To finish off this effect, I'll add an extra fade. Go to Images, select Stock Images again, and search Fade. Scroll down and choose this blue fade, and position it like this. To change the color, go to Effects and bring the brightness slider down to -100. We can see how this looks on white. Duplicate your canvas, change your background to white, and use the effects to invert the color of the fade.
The next effect I'll show you is this cool layered shadow.
Let's start with a blank post size again. This time we want to add in our text as individual letters. So go to your text and add in your first letter. I'm going to make the word shade, so I'll start with an S, enlarge it so it's nice and big on the canvas, and update the font to something bold like Joss Black. I'm going to add the shadow effect to this letter first. So with the S still selected, go up to shadow in the action bar and we'll adjust the settings. Make the blur 60, keep distance at 10, and set rotate to 180. This gives us a strong shadow around our first letter. Now let's make the letter white and the background black. As you can see, it looks like the shadow is lost because it's the same color as the background. But if you duplicate the letter, you can see how this effect starts to take shape. I'll continue to duplicate and update the letters until I've made my entire word. Position them so each letter is slightly overlapping the letter behind. Select all the letters by dragging your cursor over them all, and tidy up the design using the Align button and select Align Middle. With all the letters still selected, drag in the corner and position them into the center of your canvas. Because this effect is fully editable, make a copy of your canvas and play around with some different fonts. You may just need to move the position so you get overlapping letters.
If you want to adjust the color, always remember to keep your shadow color on each letter the same as your background color. Next, I'm going to show you how to get this smoky effect on your letters.
Add in your text, enlarge it and position it to center. Let's change the font to Oswald. By double clicking on the text, you can get some extra options. So let's make it bold and italic and rotate it to 350 degrees. Let's set the text alignment to left and adjust the letter spacing to -75. I'll tidy up the text box, enlarge it slightly and bring it into the center of my canvas. Let's make our background color black and our text white. Now we can start to add in our smoke. So with the text still selected, click on Mask from the action bar, which opens up your images. Select Stock Images and search Smoke. As you can see, it drops straight into our text. I want to update the color to the same as my background. So click on Effects and bring the brightness slider to -100. Then click the opacity and set it to 40. Now let's add in the rest of the smoke. So go back to your images and we'll add in this first smoke image again. Deselect it and add in the second one. Position them to the left and the right of your text like this. Select the one on the right, right click and send it to back. We want to make these smoke images white. So select both and click on Effects in the action bar. Drop the brightness down to -100 and check Invert to make them white. Let's add in an extra glow by going back to your images, select Stock Images and search Fade. Choose this green one and repeat the same process to make it white. Because these smoke images are transparent, you can get some pretty cool color variations just by playing around with the hue effects in each layer.
The fifth effect I'll run through with you is this cool vintage shadow.
Let's start with a blank post size again. We'll add in our text, enlarge it, and tidy up the text box. I want to use a retro, vintage style font, so I'll update it to Virali script. Because this effect is fully editable, we can see how it looks on different fonts later. We want to make sure our background color is always bright and slightly on the darker tone, to make sure our effects stand out. So something like this deep purple is great. And make the text white. I'll add in the hex codes I've used in the description below. Now we want to start getting the shadow layers on our text. With your text selected, click on the shadow in the action bar and select the hard preset. Keep the distance at 10 and from the template colors, select the same color as your background. Scroll down and click on the color picker. This will open up more options. Easil has already done the hard work for us and pre-selected these tints from the background color. For the first shadow, we'll choose this first tint. We want to create a few more shadow layers. So let's duplicate the text and open up our colors. We'll select the same color as our background again and open the color picker to see our tints. This time let's choose the third one down. We'll update the shadow too, so go back up to shadow in the action bar and from the template colors choose the background color again. Open up the color picker and this time select the darkest tint. Scroll back up and update the distance to 20. Right click and send this one to back. Now let's select the top layer and shift it down like this, so each shadow is slightly overlapping. You can open your layers and select each layer individually, or drag your cursor over both layers and position them to center.
The last effect I'm going to show you is this awesome glitter effect and how to add these lighting blinks.
So start with a blank canvas again and add in the text. Enlarge it and update the font to Octane Condensed.
And we'll make it bold.
With the text selected, click Mask in the action bar, which opens your images. Choose Stock Images and search Glitter. Let's choose this first option. Go to Mask Effects, click View More and bring the saturation up to 60. Let's update the background color, so go to your colors and scroll down to the color picker to see more options. I'll choose a blue and on the color map, move the selector down to get a nice deep tone. To add in the edges to my text, go up to Shadow and select the Hard preset. Scroll down and click on the eyedropper. Hover over the glitter and choose a dark tone. You can open up the color picker and adjust the color on the color map to get the perfect tone.
Let's tidy up the text and enlarge it slightly.
Now let's add in our lighting accents. Go to Images, choose Stock Images and search Bling. Let's choose this one. I'll resize and position it like this. I want to get some color and depth to my lighting accent, so I need to update the color first. So with it selected, go to Effects, click on Invert and then View More, and make the hue 300. This will change the pink to gold. I'll add the filter ID into the description so you can just copy and paste it into your design. To add depth to my lighting accent, I'll duplicate the bling and resize it down to around half the size. Now go back to Effects and bring the brightness down to -100. Because this is already inverted, it will make it white. Select both blings and click on Alignment in the action bar. Select Align Center and Align Middle. I'll duplicate the bling and position it here. So we have variations in the lighting accents. I'll choose another bling from Images and repeat the process. And we're done.
So that's 6 awesome editable text effects that you can apply to any font in Easil, and a few hot tips to add a little extra to the effect and make your designs really stand out. Check out our other YouTube videos for design hacks, drop any questions in the comments below, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified every time we post a new video. Thanks heaps for watching.